For those who do not know me, I am Rasmir, superhero ordinaire. And for those that do know me, it's no secret that I love me, the Dungeons and the Dragons. And I'd like to take you on a magical journey through story time. This is a story about someone, let's call him Pillowpants. Yes, it's a reference, look it up later. But shall we? A journey of self-discovery, if we may. Once upon a time, there was a wee lad named Pillowpants. You see, Pillowpants was very homeschooled, very sheltered, and very religious. This probably explained the things he said about firearms, the universe only being a few thousand years old, and how his particular god didn't quite care for members of the LGBT community. I, of course, took umbrage with these remarks. However, rather than demand satisfaction via 10 rounds of bare-knuckle boxing, I instead invited him to sit down at the table of brotherhood for a rousing game of Dungeons and Dragons, where I would begin a long and meticulous plot. For while in the real world I live by the code of the superhero, at the game table I am downright merciless. He had never played before. Oh, how I showed him a world. He got hooked right proper quick and had drafted up a totally original character in the make of a hooded assassin rogue. So I decided to turn the tables a tad and have the recurring villains our hero would fight be a parody caricature of overzealous right-wing religious nutbags. They would go around claiming, "We are the Church of the One Direction, and our God, YOLO, demands worship and praise, or else he will kill you with meteors and earthquakes. Repent, ye sinners!" That sort of deal. Hey, Pillowpants, wink wink, nudge nudge, this is what you sound like. On one of his early games, I gave the players a mission promising great financial wealth as a reward. Said church of annoying asshats had kicked a lovely lady reluctant vampire out of her mansion in an attempt to purify the land in the name of the one true God. Only problem being that said lovely lady vampire was in fact the legal resident of said haunted mansion. Thus, she hired our brave heroes to kick out the cultists so she could live out the rest of eternal nights in peace and quiet. So, Pillowpants the Rogue and friends had to crawl their way from the basement dungeon to rainy rooftop, fighting an army of Westboro Baptists. Screw it, moving on. So with the table turns, Pillowpants learned that sometimes the real monsters are people who use their religion as an excuse to act like monsters. I am so subtle, oh yes, master of subterfuge. But I wasn't done. Another adventure involved Pillowpants and friends being hired to kidnap a pretty princess of Steampunk Kingdom. Actually, it was all a plot by the princess herself to duck out of an arranged marriage set up by her racist, sexist, xenophobic father. Today's real monster, the patriarchy. So our heroes, led by Pillowpants himself, bravely escorted the princess through dangers untold and hardships unnumbered, cross dungeons deep and wilderness vast, to the open arms of her grace's one true love, the reluctant lady vampire from the earlier adventure. Pillowpants had inadvertently, and of his own free will, mind you, that's how D&D works, quested to reunite two lesbian lovers. But I wasn't done. Sometime later, the player had come up with a proper backstory for his rogue assassin. He was a member of a guild of monster-hunting inquisitors. Okay, so far so good. And his base was in Steampunk Kingdom. Wait, hold on. The same Steampunk Kingdom whose princess you helped kidnap/run away? Yes, and we have a squad of mech warriors. Okay. Pillowpants, you've gone too far. The king of Steampunk Kingdom asks you, the Inquisitor, if you know anything about his missing daughter. Roll for deception. Well, long story short, too late. The king sees through the poker face of failure and banishes Pillowpants and his whole guild, and thrashes their base and all of their mech warriors. So I told the plucky young pickpocket Pillowpants as the dungeon master, well, now you have something to quest for. Restoring your guild to its former glory, and build up those mech warriors. That way, you'll appreciate them more. But, for now, it looks like you're in dire need of coin, good sir. Realizing he needs to rebuild the guild to go back to fighting monsters and saving innocents, Pillowpants turns to the richest friends he has in the in-game universe, the lesbian lovers. Former princess, now mad scientist, Dr. and Mrs. Reluctant Lady Vampire. They agree to become the guild's sponsors if and only if they can get the King of Neverwinter, the kingdom they both fled to be together, to officially proclaim their marriage legally binding. Yes, the very homeschooled, very sheltered, very fundamentalist conservative player would need to become a lobbyist for marriage equality if he wanted to get his hands on a lot of gold real fast. For the record, yes, he had other options to turn the offer down and find other means of collecting gold. However, sometimes, years later, late at night, I foolishly believed he'd developed a small fragment of an emotional investment to these characters I created. Perhaps a small sliver of his subconscious realized that in real life these marginalized people only want the same legal rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that the rest of us have. And this game was his way of secretly letting that little bit of light of his humanity spark and shine for one brief shining moment. Or maybe he didn't give a damn and just wanted to get the bloody quest over with so he could go back to stabbing goblins. I don't know. So, Pillowpants went before the king, debated the douchebag church of the One Direction assholes from earlier, and rolled high on his diplomacy check, and BAM! Hail Pillowpants, champion of marriage equality! But wait, it gets better. On the day of the wedding, our heroes had overheard the rumor that the Church of the One Direction were plotting to crash the party and kill everyone, turning our white wedding into a red wedding. Well, our heroes weren't gonna have that, so Pillowpants himself leads the charge and battles the leader of the church himself. Now, sidebar, during the long adventures, the player had leveled up quite a bit and started multi-classing in magical spells. I allowed it since he was doing a splendid job of following rules and keeping all of his stats and spells and paperwork organized. So, anyway, the final blow in this boss fight of the final level, Pillowpants himself slays the leader of the game world's version of the Westboro Baptist Church with the spell Color Spray. It's a rainbow-colored magic power blast. Again, just to reiterate, Pillowpants saves the day with magic hands that shoot rainbows. Now, did the player have a change of heart and get woke and decide to become less of a fundamentalist judge bag piece of garbage person? Well, in good stories, there would be character progression. In the real world, sometimes people just don't change. But hey, tune in next time when I tell you about Mr. Blockhead, the half-orc champion fighter who wanted to sex everything with boobs until his junk fell right off. What a joyful journey that was. You probably got some questions, and I probably have some answers. But are they the answers that you want to the questions that you need to ask? Well, you'll never find out unless you ask them. That's right. The next video is going to be a Ask Rasmir, where I answer your questions. Leave a question in the comment below, send it in a direct message via carrier pigeon, or scream them into the night sky. I probably won't hear those, but it's great lung exercise regardless. So, until next time everybody, I'm your old friend Rasmir. Later.